Welcome back to the Dragon Den, all my loyal Dragonites. King of Dragons 5000 is back with another action figure review. Today we'll be taking a look at the Medicom Toys Mafex Jean Grey from the X-Men. But before we have a look at the figure, let's actually take a look at today's sponsor. Today's sponsor is brought to you by the Jewel Gallery. Jewel Gallery, home to the largest selection of jewelry in the Southwest. Rings, necklaces, pendants, and other fine jewelry. Jewel Gallery is also the home of the one and only Jewelgram. So come in and find your fit at the Jewel Gallery, where it's all about the ring. Getting Jean Grey out of the packaging, we have a really nice figure, but before we have a look at her details, let's run through her accessories. Jean comes with 3 very beautiful head sculpts. She also has 4 pairs of hands, as well as a pair of hands with energy effects, and a downed cowl neck piece. So unfortunately, Jean Grey is a little bit light on accessories, so with that out of the way, let's have a closer look at her details. Overall, Mafex has done a really good job with Jean Grey. The metallic blue looks very nice, the paint job overall is fairly clean, and the yellowed bodysuit looks really good. Taking a look at her face sculpt, Mafex has done a really great job with Jean Grey here. Beautiful blue eyes, red lipstick, and soft facial features make this the ideal Jean Grey figure. And then she does have her cowl, which is sculpted very nicely. A signature trait of Jean Grey is that she does have beautiful red hair. Her hair is done very nicely in terms of sculpt, but I would have loved to see a little bit of paint on her hair. As far as her costume goes, it screams 90s Jean Grey. The metallic blue that is on Jean Grey looks very impressive, and the paintwork on it is very clean. A little bit fuzzy in some areas, but you can see a very clear divide between the blue and the yellow of her costume. And being a Mafex figure, that divide is sculpted on her costume. Jumping right out of the 90s, Jean Grey does have giant shoulder pads. Then we do have metallic blue patches on her biceps. And on her forearm, she is wearing blue gauntlets, which do have some really nice sculpt work on them. She has some back coverings on her hands, but other than that, the hands are pretty plain. On her waist, she is wearing a blue belt, which looks very good with the giant X-Men insignia on it. And in the middle of her costume, she does have a blue stripe going down the front and down the back. We do have some metallic blue parts on her thighs, and those have a really nice sculpt to them. And then the rest of her legs are pretty bare, just being that yellow jumpsuit. So from the knees down, Jean Grey's costume is rather plain. No folds or wrinkles indicating any type of costume, and unfortunately there is no boot sculpt. Overall, it fits the bill for the 90s Jean Grey, so I really do like what this figure brings to the table. So with that being said, let's get her compared to our usual suspects. Here we have Jean Grey posed next to a Marvel Legends Cyclops and DC Multiverse Superman, Mattel's WWE Elite Series and Mezco's 1/12 Collective Popeye the Sailor Man, the Lightning Collection White Ranger and the Star Wars Black Series Mandalorian. And finally we have her posed next to the Marvel Legends Jean Grey. So overall she scales rather nicely with other toy lines. And with her comparisons out of the way, let's get a look at her articulation. She has a ball joint in the head and in the neck, ball socket shoulders, arms go out to the side and do a full 360, bicep swivel and double hinged elbows, ball hinge in the wrist, double ball joint in her mid-torso and ball joint in her lower torso, ball hinge hips go forward, back, out to the side and have a thigh swivel, double band in her knee, ball hinge in her ankle, and we have a toe hinge. So overall, Mafex's standard articulation for the figures works really well for Jean Grey. With everything said and done about Jean, let's actually get her posed for my final thoughts. Mafex overall has done a really good job here with Jean Grey. Very beautiful head sculpts and various hands for posing make this a really good figure to look at. Unfortunately, Jean Grey here is rather light on accessories. Understandably, because she is a telepath, it's really hard to make accessories for a power like this. Although I do feel like they should have included a head where she has a ponytail, I still think this Jean Grey looks pretty impressive. One thing that I do have to point out is that there are some areas where there will be paint rub on this figure. She is mostly cast in yellow plastic, but there are parts of her that are cast in that metallic blue. So you do have to be careful when moving some of her joints so the paint doesn't rub on parts of the figure. Overall, if you're a 90s X-Men fan, you're going to want to have Jean Grey in your collection. At the time I'm making this video, Jean Grey has been out a while, and I did pick up mine from Big Bad Toy Store. If you're a fan of 90s X-Men or the Jim Lee costumes, you're going to want to have this Jean Grey in your collection. Before we go, I would like to thank the Jewel Gallery for once again sponsoring this video. So with that being said, don't forget to like this video, leave a comment, subscribe to my channel, and check out all my other Mafex and X-Men videos. While you're at it, take a look at my Instagram account for new and exciting action figure photos, videos, and other goodies, and ring that bell so you never miss another video. So until next time, my loyal Dragon Knights, coming from the Dragon Den, I'm King of Dragons 5000, take care, be safe, and I'll see you next time.